All right. Looks like we're live. Cool. Just clicking around stuff over here. All right. Boom, 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 boom. Let me get the Twitch stuff back up so I can see chat. Cool. We are on the final day of this jam here. It's the UCSC Alumni Summer Game Jam 2020, number 3. So the theme is inseparable. Let me just, I've got audio. I checked OBS. So what I thought of when I saw that word was recognizing the parts of yourself that are inseparable and learning to love those. So I was like, okay, how would that work? And I started to think about kind of like meditation walks that people take, and there are actually these like meditation labyrinth structures where you walk along them. I have one of them saved in here, and that's kind of what I've been using as the basis for this this shape here. So in the previous streams I did, we spawned a labyrinth and we got it to spawn text along there. I've written some text for the different insecurities that I wanted to tackle in this, I guess. And so most of the cool code ended up getting written off stream by me yesterday, but that's okay. There's still some stuff to do. So basically where it is right now is the user's over here, and we kind of track their progress along the curve, and as they move along, the words spawn in the order of the curve. Based off what I was seeing when I was testing this out last night, it seems like I need to be a little more forgiving with the user's progress, because sometimes they get a little bit off from this curve, and I think it was maybe a little too much because I think it was around here that it kind of got stuck. So I think I'm going to give a little more leeway there or something, and hopefully that will help. I've added this little sphere, which kind of lets you know the last position that it tracked you at. So that's been helpful for when it doesn't really happen too much in the editor, but in AR, just because the spacing is so different, I found that I'll progress through the curve and then it hasn't tracked that, so I'll have to like look for the sphere and try to figure out where it last accepted my input. So that will be some stuff I'm debugging. It's very forgiving in here, but I think we'll need to loosen that up a little bit. That'll be okay. So yeah, that's being handled by this spline progress tracker script right here. And so I think I'm just going to turn up this delta to 0.05, and hopefully that will do that. So I've got these copyright-free lo-fi beats, which hopefully I will hear in my headphones, because then that would mean that you can hear them. So I can hear them. So I think that means you can hear them. So cool. Let's see. I guess I should show a video of this working. I just tweeted one out when I was saying that this stream was starting. It's in the thread. Yeah, here. So we have it right now where you scan a plane, and then you tap on the plane, and then there's kind of a default interactables prefab and scene from the AR Foundation Samples project. So we're just kind of using that to size the labyrinth. And then once you have the scale that you want, then basically the camera is what we're using to determine the user's position through the labyrinth. And then we're just kind of turning on these words as you progress, so that it's clear what words you should be reading. When we were first doing this, all the words are on, and as you can see, the spline the words are using is not the same spline that I ended up drawing in Tilt Brush, so it can get a little confusing, even with them turning themselves off, what words you're supposed to be reading. But hey, it's a jam project. It's gonna be a little sloppy. It's all good. I could do like a whole code run through. because yeah, there is quite a bit that got written yesterday. General gist of it is we have these managers. We have what I call the Labyrinth manager. This kind of handles most of the progression type things in regards to the labyrinth, along the spline where the user is, and then also any planes that are being rendered in the AR experience. I turn off the planes, at least visibly, when the labyrinth comes in, just to reduce the clutter of things on the screen. Yeah, this stuff's pretty self-explanatory. This is one of the newest ones I made, is a words manager. I kind of split out some of the word stuff. The turning on and off of words as you move around is, I think, one of the last things I did last night. So this one's pretty new. It interacts with the spawn text stuff, which I think we wrote in one of the previous streams. It's just been reworked a tiny bit just to work with some of the new code, but roughly the same. I made this new word class, which all it does is just store the calculated progress along the curve that word is at, and that's what we use to compare against the user's progress through the curve inside of the spline progress tracker. So here's where the user is in the space. Here's the spline that we're checking progress against. This is their progress through the spline. This is the amount that we are allowing progress to progress at a time. This is because the curve of that shape and the maze shape, especially with the user able to move freely, we don't want them to go from here to here to here to here and skip all these curves in the bend. We want them to progress along the actual curves. So this is me just kind of filtering out those larger jumps. So we're only allowing the user to go so far, which I think is why I was getting those bugs before. And then this is a similar concept for spawning the words, just how far the words are from the last calculated progress in terms of what words will show up. And that's being handled here. And I added an extra case here just to turn off words that are behind you, just because in some of those rounding bends you would end up with a lot of words. So I've limited it to just the words immediately in front of you that you will be seeing. I think that's largely the new code. Yeah, I'm probably forgetting some. A couple shader things. I found with tilt brush drawings that making things render both faces helps, just because sometimes they're facing different ways. So it basically just eliminates that headache. So yeah, I guess I can walk through the tilt brush art that I did. Where would that be? That would be in the project folder. Yeah, so I tried to draw something for each of the different insecurities. So this one here, I actually need to swap out because this one does not match the words that are being displayed. This one is my drawing for timid. So it's timid and the timid lines. Here's the one for oversharing. And then one for overextending. That sort of reads. Maybe I should have added legs as well, but I think it gets the point across. And what I want to do is, so you kind of walk into the center of the circle, right? And then you walk out. So what I want to have happen is when you reach the center of the circle, I want to probably swap the art that's there with this hug where you accept that trait, and I think I want that for all of them. So that's probably what we're going to be doing. But I think the first thing we need to do is just get it so that you can make it into the middle, and then once you make it into the middle, have it swap the art to that hug. So maybe, and also the words. So maybe we do the words first. Yeah, I think that makes sense. Yeah. So maybe before that, though, we should try building and just seeing if me adding that extra word acceptance threshold will make it so that, there we go, so that you can progress through the experience, because I was reaching some points where I would get stuck. So just gonna build and run here. I might lose some frames in the stream, that's okay. Yeah, the unfortunate thing here is that this is the pipeline currently. Gotta build each time to test it out, and looks like the project was already configured to use IL2CPP, which is normally great because then it's going to be running more efficiently on the device, but it just means the compile times are a little bit longer, but that's okay. Probably could make it a little faster if I went through and cleaned out the other examples in here that I wasn't using. Oh, I guess I could update. So what happened last time, I think we ended things, I was trying to get a 2020.1 version of this project to work, and determined that Unity Hub was not going to download the JDK like we needed. So I did try and reinstall 2020.1 and let that run for quite a while, and it didn't seem to finish. So I don't know if something's haunted on my computer. We'll figure that out. But what I did was I took that project and then just downgraded it down to 2019.4, and we're golden. Everything's working fine now. So cool. I think I had to maybe uninstall a couple packages that were like from the future, and then install the ones that work on 2019.4. But yeah, it wasn't too bad. Good to go. I think I had to change the build platform to Android as well, but hey, we can see on the screen AR things happening, and that's all we were trying to do there. So works for me. It's building. Yeah, so I think this jam ends at 5, so I think I need to get strategic with how many times I'm building, just because this is like a decent time sink each time. But it's important to just make sure that the progression through the experience can happen, because that's the entire experience. So this will be worth it. Alright, here we go. I'm going to unplug, so you're not going to see the log cat, but that's okay. I guess this cable could theoretically reach it, but that's alright. So, be right back. I'm going to try it out. Or actually, I can capture screen. Maybe you can see what I'm seeing. That would be neat. Can you see what I'm seeing? No, it's not showing what I'm seeing on the screen. How about now? Maybe it's not a live feed. Maybe it's just it's just a single picture. Oh well. I'll try to record a video if something cool happens. But yeah, be right back. Enjoy watching me scanning my floor. Haha! I left this prefab in the scene and it's breaking everything. Classic. Okay. Yeah, maybe we'll do something extra just to minimize these build times. We're just going to assume that 0.05 worked. Keep that in mind, and maybe we'll make it so that when the user reaches progress 1, the words will swap. I think that makes sense. So just plug this in again, and then we'll do that. Okay, cool. So I believe all that stuff's being stored in spawn text. Yeah. So spawn text. Set up words. So words to use are already being used there. Probably shouldn't be the case. I think that should be moved to here. Okay. Yeah, current insecurity, and then I think this is where we could fix that. So we'll pass in an int and tell it which paragraph we want to go through. So currently we're using the, still don't love the name, but I've referred to it as reason. There's kind of 2 paragraphs that we go through for each one that I wrote up on Thursday. So there's this one, and then we're going to shift to that one. I guess that could be a boolean, but yeah, sure. Parse overcoming. How about that? Because then I can start out as false and then go from there. So if... Oh, wait, whoa, we don't want to put that in the for loop. That was close. We just need to parse that once. First, and then we will parse that one. So it doesn't read great. I usually like to do the first case first when you're reading down, but that's okay. This will work. This is jam code. So then what would be cool is if we had a boolean in the Labyrinth manager that just says if you've reached the center. I think that'd be neat. Spline progress trackers in there. Okay, cool. So how about... Okay, this is happening here. Progress. So let's say if progress is greater than or equal to... Let's put like a little threshold here. So let's say... if it has reached 1, or is within the allowable progress delta of 1, then we will set this boolean on the Labyrinth manager to true. So center, what did I call that? I don't think it was, yeah, wasn't internal. So make that internal so that we can access it over here. Center, there it is, user reached center is true. Cool. So then if the user has reached center is true, okay. So then we'll need to make this a public function, and then we'll just also have this call words manager. So words manager instance like spawner set of words true, and that should parse the overcoming text. Although I just realized the tricky part of this is now we want the words to spawn in the opposite order. So we're going to need to make a version of this that works with 1 minus, but that's probably not too bad. I think I'm going to use a bathroom really quick. I'll get back into it. Yeah. Hope you're being nice to Orcane here. Just gonna set up a fan really quick, and then we'll get back to it. Situation here. Okay. I think it would just be right here that we have to do that, right? Shouldn't be too bad. Like, it always just 1 minus that, I bet. Okay, let's try it. And then we'll add, yes. I see what you're saying. That is a valid point. Okay, word progress. And then up here, we'll just do 1 minus that. And I bet we're golden after that. And then just to test it, I'm just gonna honestly put this in update, I think. Where would that be? Here? Yeah, so let's just move this to, oh, we already have a fixed update. Let's just put a little key press thing here. So key code, get button, input.get button down. Key code A, I'm just gonna put that in there. And that will be a, shift tab, that's what we want. That should be a quick way to test that out. Is that everyone happy? Everyone's happy. Go. I guess I should update the text. What we're doing now is we are swapping. We're swapping the text halfway through. So setting up second phase. Don't love that description, but I think it's accurate enough. Okay, so here we are, and then we will simulate finding the labyrinth where we can just do that. Yeah, and then we can see the text is coming in there, I believe. Yeah. And then if I press A, did it do it? I don't know if it did it. Yeah, I don't know that I told it to remove the old words. That might be important. Yeah, where did these words go? Words. Spawn text. Words to use. Yeah, this is the old thing. I don't know what that... There we go. I think I pressed A inside of the scene view instead of the game mode view. So now if I go here, yeah, cool. So this is parsing incorrectly, but as you can see, we have the old problem of we can see everything. 'Cause Yeah, so it's not just the spawning of the words, which I think we probably did correctly. It's going to be that we have to check their progress, probably also in that backwards state. So that'll be fun. Okay. Yeah, so I probably should move this to its own function now, since there's going to be a different version of it, just to keep things clean. How about here? Vowed. Okay. Looks like calculate progress comes out here, so I suppose we can pass that in as a float. So if user no. What was I doing this with? I was doing if coming. Yeah, that's not gonna work here. Yeah, I was using this boolean here. Which we don't need. We can just use if user has reached center from the Labyrinth manager. That'll work. If user has reached center, then we would use the other one. But in that other case, we will check user progress forward, pass in calculate progress. So just to confirm we didn't break anything, let's just do the tried and true method we've been doing. Drag that on in. And I believe that if we turn on the user here, and progress through, everything will behave as it used to. Yep, I think we're fine. Looks good to me. Cool. So now we just need to set it up to go backwards. So we would make this, but for backwards. Boy. It always feels like it should be super smart and simple, moving things around inside of your if statement that are subtracting and adding to each other, but I don't know, it always feels like it takes my brain a little longer than I would expect it to. So right off the bat, I think our progress is now going to always be larger than the calculated progress because we're going to be going down, ideally. Wow, that's fun. That's not what I wanted. So we can definitely flip that one. And then similarly, I think we want to subtract progress, or calculate progress from progress now. That might be largely what we need to do. Let's look at the rest of these. So if progress is more than 1 minus, okay. So this was the state we're relying on when this is not a factor, because it won't be in the AR experience to say that it was over. So how about here, we'll say this will be 0. It would be 0 plus the allowable progress delta, so let's just say allowable progress delta. So if it is less than or equal to the allowable progress delta, end game stuff. We'll figure that out later. That feels very simple, but that might be everything we need. Oh no, enable words is also forwards, it looks like. So we'll need to figure that out as well. I guess before we do all of that, though, what we could do is just check if this works. So, yeah. So why don't we try that? So I'm going to move the user. Actually, hold on, let me remove the labyrinth from the equation. And I'm just going to move the user. I guess we have to have it in the equation. So I'm going to move the user to the very end here. Don't worry about it. And I'm going to set their progress to 1 if it will let me. But it's in fixed update, so I'm not optimistic here. Oh, it's on the sphere now, right. Oh, it let me. Yay. Okay, so now I'm going to try and flip. And then if I move the user backwards, hopefully I will see progress going down. I think I did it because I see that sphere moving now. Backwards. Cool. Yeah. Yeah, so looks like that's working, and we can see the text progressing forwards as if we were moving forwards. So now we just need to make it map so that it progresses backwards instead. So that's good. That's encouraging. So let me just rename this to enable words forward, and we're going to move that inside of this if statement, inside of the forward category. And then we'll make an enable words backwards. It's only used in here, so let's get a little fancy. Let's take out that public. We don't need that. Enable words backwards. Alright, so if words are behind current user progress. So trying to decide if we want to just 1 minus this. That's not really what we did to get the backwards over there. We're just going to flip things. Let me think about this for a little bit. Yes, that one would just flip, pretty sure. Yeah, I guess we just flip that, right? Yeah, let's just flip that. Might be simple. I like when things are simple. Cool. Alright, and let's throw it in here. Let's be optimistic. So let's see if we can get that set up again. So we're going to drag in the labyrinth real quick. Move the user to the center. Hack in there. We're going to set the progress of the 0 to 1. So it's in the center. Say that we reach the center. And then we're going to have the user spawn the text how we want. I don't believe that is working. Oh, I guess I should say I built a debug, or not debug, compiler thing so that in the editor, this user transform is what drives progress, but when we build it, that gets ignored and it's just using the camera transform as input. Okay, so I think it's safe to say this is not working as intended. So let's maybe actually try and think about this. Okay, words backwards. Do we need to enable words backwards? Because we're already doing 1 minus, aren't we? Aren't we already compensating for this? Maybe that's our problem. Split. Yeah, it should already be doing that here, I feel like. Yeah. But we definitely saw it progressing them in the wrong direction, it seemed like. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe we can't do the words in 1 minus. Maybe that's the problem. Or no. We do need to sort of, but I think we need to set the words progress inside of here to be 1 minus. So we need to do them. Yeah, so so along the curve, they need to be in the correct 0 to 1 so that we can place them in the order that we want. I think, or no, the opposite of that. So they will spawn in the opposite direction of how the spline works. But then I think internally, we'll give them the opposite thing. I think I'm getting a word jumble here when I'm trying to say it out loud, but I think I know what to do. So we're going to go to spawn text here, and where it sets the progress, we will adjust for that. Oh, or maybe that was the issue here, was that it wasn't adjusting for that. Huh. Food for thought. I am still watching, thank you. Yeah.
Woke up late with a splitting headache and maybe thoughts of you. Moped around the day, depressed and shaking. Thoughts of you. They say I can't escape. I will have to face
1 minus 1 minus? Does that work? Yeah, pretty sure you can 1 minus 1 minus. And that should give you the original one. Cool, so we're going to spawn in the labyrinth. We're going to move the user to the center. They're in the center. We're going to tell the sphere that it has reached the center progress-wise and also code-wise. This looks busted like it did before, but let's be optimistic here. Oh. And then we will progress outwards. There's something. I don't know why it's really into that zone there. It's interesting. Yeah, it's still progressing forwards, it looks like. Even though we want it to be progressing backwards. So, not what we're looking for. Yeah. Okay.
So that the wine keep flowing till my teeth turn red, till my heart's broken. I'm alone but content in the morning.
So if we are passing them in so that they think they're from 0 to 1, even though they're 1 minus the normal thing, maybe we can just use enable words back or forwards. I think that's the missing piece here. I would like to write. So we're just gonna enable words forwards and everything else will be backwards. And hopefully that's okay. Okay, dragging that labyrinth. Move the user to the middle. Tell the sphere it reached the end. Tell everything else it reached the end. And we're going to, well, the text isn't here, so that's encouraging. Then we're going to move the user along the spline. Oh, it's still over in that zone. Why is it that zone? What's so cool about that area? Okay. So my progress tracking isn't working how I think it is. If progress minus calculated progress is less than allowable progress delta, and the calculated progress is less than progress. Progress is calculated progress. Okay. So I think we should back up and just print out progress and just make sure that's working how we think it is and not even worry about words right now. That makes sense to me. So let's do that. So we're going to drag in that labyrinth. And then we're going to turn on the user. We're going to move them to the center. What a great place to be, the center. Tell the sphere it reached the end. And then kapow, all those words are there. And let's just track the progress here and just watch that move. I feel like when we were doing this, everything was working how we expected. Oh, not the sphere. The user. So they start moving. And I think that's working largely okay. Yeah. Okay, yeah. I think we can confirm that that works. Cool. So now, let's check out the words, because they're definitely being funky. Trying to think of a way to do this that won't be just printing a ton of stuff. Probably the first thing to do would be, do we want to change that? Like maybe this, we should remove this as a factor and just have them be receiving the same kind of progress there. Yeah. So it's going to place them along the spline at that position. That's fine. And then, so since they are going to be set up that way,
but to find out that may be true or may be false,
then if their progress is more than our progress, we want to turn them off. That seems fine. if their progress, if the user's progress minus that larger progress is less than the allowable world delta, is that the problem here? Like, I guess the thing to do would be to just think about it mathematically here. So I typed in math, not bad. So let's say our word is at 7.1 and the user's coming backwards, so they're at 0.8. So then, okay, so the user would be 0.8 there and the word would be 0.7. So that would be 0.8 minus 0.71, which would be 0.09, which would be less than our allowable word delta. So that would be true actually, which is not what we want. We only want this to happen if it is this is 0.05. Maybe this is fine. Because our allowable delta right now is 0.5. So then this would be false. So then it wouldn't activate. So let's maybe do one that should activate. So let's do 0.8 and 0.77. So the word is at 0.8 and the user is at 0.77. That should also not activate actually, because the user should always be in front of the words now. They should be further along the spline technically. So maybe that's our problem here. Yeah, because this would be 0.03. So 0.03 is less than 0.05. So that would be true. But it shouldn't be, because the user would be behind, or I should really like I think I need to sketch this because this is kind of abstract. Okay. So progress. Do. So let's say the user would be at 0.80. So the user is at 0.80 and the word is at 0.77. So that's our case here, or 0.77. So then in that case, what we want to do is subtract the user's position, which is what's happening, minus the word amount. That would be 0.03. And if that is less than 0.05, then we want that to be true. Which that looks fine. It's the same as up there, except up there I was thinking the user would be at 0.77, the word is at 0.8, I think. So what have we learned? Maybe what we can do is, just to avoid printing too much, is we'll only print if this is true. So we'll just put a disgusting print statement in here. I love making disgusting print statements. So user minus word is less than delta Put that equals there just so you don't have to do the mental math. Because, ew, mental math. So we have, let's bring back any words backwards. So we can test this. Okay, user. Labyrinth. User, go in the labyrinth, please. Thank you. What a good sport. Sphere's going to the end. Press an A. Go. So now the user is here. So the user is here, the word is there. So this is one of the words that we're getting. So this word's progress is 0.98. Okay. So maybe the issue is the 1 minus isn't working how I'm thinking then. 'Cause that's weird. Yeah, I guess we'll just take out the 1 minus as a factor here, just to see what that looks like. That should also be wrong though. Keeping an eye, I want to order a sandwich before this place closes at 3. I'm going on a road trip tomorrow, starting first day of vacation. That'll be neat. I could use one. I worked myself to the bone this week. Okay. And then we set this to 1. And then we're going to press A, and let's see where these words are at. Okay, now you're over here. So your percentage. Please, thank you. 0.964 over there. That's like halfway. Okay. Interesting. So let's bring back the 1 minus, but let's just pretend that PEMDAS was not going to happen, because I'm being paranoid now. Like, honestly, yeah, let's just print out word progress and just sanity check that it's gonna go from 1 to 0, because that's what we want. We want it to go 1 to 0. So if I just spawn that and then push A, I should be able to see it going 1 to 0 at the top here. Beautiful. Beautiful. Okay. Cool. And we'll go from there and we will do our test again. So Labyrinth is here. User, go middle, please. Thank you. Sphere 1. Progress. Middle. Middle. I don't think it did it. Game. There. Okay. So why don't we just kind of go through the spawned words and just see what we're ending up with, because I think that's probably the way to debug this. So this first point here, oh, I see, that's how I'm doing this, okay. So word 1, where is it? That's 1, okay. 0.98, there. 0.964. Okay. So it's just spawning at the beginning, even though it's getting a 1 minus progress there. Cool. Interesting. Let's check out this move along spline function. So delta movement, normalize t, get point, normalize t. Should be fine. Oh, you know what? I'm not clearing the words. Wow, what if that's it? What if it's just because I'm not clearing the words? Ah. Oh.
40 days in the dark.
Let's just make this a little function here. Might as well.
40 nights with no stars.
We do need to go through and actually delete those.
No one calling, no sense of time. I came back with a message in my soul. Words can't describe.
Clear words, here we will say
You know
words manager dot instance dot clear words.
believe what has happened to me. You would not believe what my eyes have seen. You would not believe.
It's like my Twitch stream froze with me just mean mugging, thinking, refresh that, get myself happy. Yay, smiling. We all like smiling. Bow. Cool. User. Into the middle, please. Love it. Sphere. All one. And boom. Wow. Does it just work now? Yeah, seems like it works now. Cool. Sometimes things are simpler than you think. Cool, and then I think I had some extra junk here I should get rid of. Oh no, we still ended up using all the code. Love it. Okay. I think the last thing I want to do before I make a build and test this out is I'd like to make a manager that will also swap between the art in the center, just to make it very apparent what's happening here. But I think I'm going to use that before I do that. So BRB. But yeah, exciting. So yeah, so next task will be art manager. But yeah, I'm gonna put Orcane back in charge. Be nice to him. Be nice to him.
would not
Be back.
believe what happened to me. You would not believe what my eyes had seen. You would not believe what has happened to me. No, you wouldn't, baby. No, you wouldn't, baby. No, you wouldn't, baby. No, you wouldn't, baby.
Were you nice to him? He'll tell me if you weren't. Okay, sounds like you were nice. Good job. Okay, so keeping in mind as I'm writing this code, I think eventually this should be controllable. What am I trying to say here? I think there should be like a landing page at the very start of this experience with 3 buttons, and then you can choose which of the 3 insecurities that you want to meditate on. So this will be probably connecting to that in some way, and then connecting to the other things. So I think this will be called not just the art manager, but the insecurities manager. So maybe I'll update the OBS text, because I think that's hilarious. Every time I have to type the insecurities data type, I giggle just a little bit. I guess you can't see that, but fun type there. Yeah, that looks like the word. Setting up the insecurities manager. Woohoo! Hee hee! Alright. Insecurities manager. Alright, so I'm going to grab the singleton code from here, drop it on into here, and I think we'll need to actually make this not destroy on load, which I think we can do in awake. But we'll deal with that when the time comes. Okay, so let's replace these instances of Word Manager with Insecurities Manager. Bam, bam, and bam. Cool. And then something I've been meaning to do refactoring wise for a while is remove the insecurities enum from here and put it into a better place, which I think would be here. done though, we will need to update this to reflect that. So insecurities manager.insecurity enum is what we'll have to type now. Because it's not in a namespace, which would make it nice, but hey, whatever. And then current insecurity should also move there. Yeah. Was that everything for text input? No, also insecurities. Okay. Cool. Let me just make sure that's getting cut. I don't know if Control Z was changing that. So then current insecurity would go here as well. So then we can actually take this junk off because we're in the class. So we have moved the current insecurity within the insecurities manager. But that means we do need to let this class know where it moved to. Hey, don't worry, buddy. Your insecurities aren't gone. They've just been reorganized. You know, we're redoing this whole organization here. Yeah. Boom. Look at that. Was that it? I feel like that might have gotten referenced in another class, but let's see if the compiler yells. It doesn't. I prefer to not be yelled at. Thank you, compiler. Okay. All right. Doodly-doodly-doo. Okay, cool. So we made this manager, which will probably go between these two different scenes, but I think we probably will still need a general just controller for the art. So I'm trying to decide where that would go. I guess that would go in, no, that's Labyrinth progress. This is manager, that's for words. I don't think this fits into any of those categories. So we'll just make a insecurities controller. I don't know if these are the proper naming terms, but this is what I've stumbled into anyway, where manager is kind of a singleton general purpose thing, and then controllers are maybe like ground level things that could then port up to the manager. I think that makes sense, at least in my head. So what do we want in here? We want to have 3 insecurity art things. So let's just make a game object array that will be insecurities. Aha. And then we'll add one more game object for the hug art, which we'll be swapping this out for. So why don't we go into scene and let's set this up. So let's drag in that Labyrinth prefab. Yeah, so we already started doing this a little bit. So here's the insecurities there. Okay. So let's make this have the insecurities controller. And before I forget, let's put the insecurities manager in here. That's pretty common error I run into where I just, forget to put the right thing or put the manager into the scene. And then I'm like, why isn't the code working? It's like, well, because you didn't put the thing in. And fair enough. Okay. So looks like the first insecurity I've listed there is oversharing. So let's drag oversharing into the scene. Let's hear it for oversharing. Okay. Okay. Maybe not. I guess we'll have to enter the prefab editor to edit the prefab, because that's the prefabs are a thing now. So can I drag it in now? Thank you. So here's oversharing. let's see, placement wise, I want it, I think timid is 1.5, yeah. So let's size this up. And then we'll drag it generally where timid was, and I think timid's not rotated. Interesting. Because this is definitely backwards, at least from my perspective. So let's rotate that around. Okay, cool. And then since this is my first time dragging this model in, it's still using this default, looks like a standard, not even the tilt brush material, which is interesting. But yeah, like I said, sometimes the faces are in the wrong direction when I'm importing from tilt brush. So one way I fix that is I just use a double-sided material, which is not the most efficient, but gets the job done. Although maybe that's not an issue with this. This one exported in FBX because it's the desktop version of tilt brush. I generally use the Quest native version, and then that exports as a GLB. But for whatever reason, my Quest was not connecting as a device yesterday, and instead of debugging that, we're on jam time, gotta do things quickly, just improvised. So we're using FBX, which would be my preferred thing anyway. Okay, so next up is overextending. Let's hear it for overextending. Boom, boom, boom. I listed this as overworking initially, but it's not quite what this is. It's related, but this particular one is more to do with hobbies and doing too many hobbies, which I want to separate from working itself, because there are different factors driving all that. Okay, so this will maybe give you a better sense of what I'm talking about. So here it looks like that we're facing away from the normal, so it's not rendering. But if we swap this to the double-sided rendering material, boom, suddenly we can see it from here and from here. Beautiful. So now we have all of our insecurities in one unholy bundle here. Wow, yeah, I'm looking directly at my insecurities. Love it. So glad you all could make it. Cool. So yeah, let's get them in here. So we want to do this in this order because that's how I set up the enum, and if we can just use the enum to progress through these, that'll be super clean and I'll feel real cool. And yeah, the final thing here is the hug, which we're going to put on a separate thing. Yeah, it looks like I exported this as a single thing, so it'll just be a single model. So yeah. So I'm trying to decide how I want to swap to this hug, because I don't want it to look like they're like wrestling. I hope it comes across that they're hugging. I tried to draw like action lines before I drew the stick figures. You know, I put some effort into it. Okay, cool. So we're just gonna bring them on in. Bring it in, buddy. It's okay. Cool. So now they're all hugging. So I can reference that. And I think that's good. I think we now have, yes, beautiful. There they are. So what we want the Insecurities controller to do probably is we want it to take what the current insecurity is from the insecurity manager and disable everything else, assuming the user has not reached the Labyrinth center. That sounds right. I guess this could be done at the start. It would just be happening at start where you do the initial setup of the art. So that would be, we'll just iterate through, and boom, insecurities.length. And then if I equals insecurities manager dot instance dot current insecurity converted into an int. There's only 3 of these, so I don't think we need to worry about this conversion here. Shouldn't be too costly. An extra parentheses there. No? That's not what you wanted? Okay. Then, if it is the current insecurity, we good. Actually, yeah, we good. So how about if you're not the current insecurity? We're not focusing on you. If you could just just chill for a little bit, that'd be sweet. Just buy now. And make sure it's got the array index there so it doesn't yell at me. Don't yell at me. Thank you. And also we want to disable hug. So no hugs. Okay, cool. Cool. And then we would need a function though for when we do reach the center and we swap the art to be a hug. So let's do that. So activate hug. And that would be all of these. No more insecurities. Get them all out of here. We don't want them. Get rid of them. But we do want hug. Cool. Love it. Love it. Yeah, I guess we'll put a reference here to that controller. Yeah. And then we'll have this tell it, hey, don't worry, I'm the person you need. So insecurity manager dot instance dot insecurities controller. It's me. I'm your guy. I'm your go-to. And they'll say chill. And then here where we're doing the swapping, which is in here, and we need to move it into here. So we'll do it both places. And we'll say insecurities controller or insecurities manager dot instance dot insecurities controller dot activate hug, and then we'll move it here as well. So what this tells me when you write the exact same code in 2 places is this should be inside of a function, but whatever, this is temporary. Cool. So when we press play now, there should be 1 insecurity. Awesome. Honestly, yeah. If there was only 1 insecurity, that's awesome. You're doing great as a human. Shout out to you. Love it. Cool. So there's oversharing. Hello there. And then here's the user. We're going to move them to the center like we've been doing. So they reach the center here. Cool. And then we're going to we are going to change the sphere to 1. Love to change the sphere to 1. And then we're going to swap. So now hugging. Yay. And then we're going to go. Just want to check. I have a feeling it's not displaying the first word. Yeah, it's not displaying the first word. For sure. It also didn't delete these like I thought it would. Interesting. Okay. Insecurities. Word. Clear words. Cool. Spawn text. Set up words, clear words. So did this not destroy the words there? You would think it would do that. Oh, classic. So it did destroy the words, but it destroyed the words component, not the object itself. So this should take care of that. We're still getting this bug here that I want to fix, where the very first word is not displaying. I don't know if I can do too much about that. Maybe. I could put a little delta on this. That might help with that. So the word progress, user progress. I'm trying not to galaxy brain here. Would this be minus or plus, and on which of these variables? So progress is going to be more now. But this one will be at 1. That one will be at 1. So let's try a minus on here. That might do it. Okay. So there is our insecurity. Hello. Learning to love you. User can get into the middle. Get in the middle. Get in the middle. And then boop and boop. Cool. I think we fixed it. Because I can see the word people. People. Love people. Cool. So that's good. So I think we have done quite a bit of here. So let's try building this. One thing that I would like to add on here, I think I have it listed as a future task, is just like a subtle color lerp as you're going through. Yeah. So like I think it could start red at the beginning, and as you go through, it can progress to white, and then as you're progressing out, it go white to blue. I think that should be generally colorblind friendly. But hey, there's words. So, cool. All right. And build. Build. Save. Yes. Let's do it. Let's do it. I think probably after this I'll have some lunch, have some coffee, make sure I get that sandwich. Yeah, so probably we'll end the stream. Might come back for a part 2, but who knows? Probably. Yesterday I didn't because I was still needing rest from the week. But I definitely feel more rested today. So after some coffee and food, I'll probably be game. Be cool. The thing though is like, I guess now that this is basically working, a lot of it will be building and then testing in an AR, which at least at the moment I don't have an immediate streaming from my phone and desktop solution. So it would just be me over there walking around and reacting to things. And I guess there's the music, which isn't playing anymore. That could be going, but yeah, it's not as fun. Speaking of which, yes, I'm still watching. Thank you. Bring back the music. Thank you. Okay,
Unity's building. Oh yeah, I also gotta figure out the sound and the music. Gonna do that. I think just something generally ambient and meditative will work just fine. So the music shouldn't be too hard to find something that will generally work. The sound work is something that I'd be interested to see if we have time for and to get into, because I want it to be gentle. You know, you don't want it to be too jarring and take you out of the focusing state you're meant to be in. So that'll be tricky, but we can probably figure it out. Alright, looks like we're built. So I'm gonna try it. Realizing I should be recording my screen so I can show it on here. So I started doing that. Okay, it's working pretty well. Running into an older issue I had where tapping the screen can spawn another labyrinth when you're like already having progressed pretty far into another one. So I guess I have to start over. I could probably increase the
threshold that it accepts input more, honestly. Like, it's still pretty particular sometimes and not particular enough other times, but hey, I'm at least able to progress through it where I was running into issues yesterday. So yeah, I think it mostly just comes down to my tilt brush spline isn't the exact spline, so it's tricky to navigate sometimes because I'm like, wait, I am moving how you want, and then I have to remember, no, it doesn't line up 1-to-1. So I'm gonna do one more test, or I would like to be able to actually reach the center and then see the code, swap and work. That would be neat. So I'm going to record my screen again, and jump back into it. So test 2. It works.
Alright, cool. Let me figure out the smartest way to get this video over. Because I bet it's too long to just send over Facebook, but... Oh yeah, it's like 5 minutes. Wow, okay. That ain't happening. Huh. I bet we could just access this as a drive and we can watch it that way. Where would that handy USB we've been using this entire stream be? One thing I did notice behavior-wise between the beginning and end, or start of the experience in the second half, is on the second half, since I added that threshold to make it so you can read that first word, all of those words were kind of still showing. So maybe I need to make that a bit tighter or something, just because it was behaving a little bit differently. And on some of those bends, like I was talking about, where you can still see some words, you're like, oh, what word am I supposed to be reading? That could be a little clearer. But let me get the video viewable on stream so you can see what I'm talking about. Cool. So now we can get up in here and I can show you what I was seeing. I believe it should be, AZ Recorder. Just gotta load all those. So it should be the most recent one. That looks like the one. Ah, okay. Got it. Let me go to Sound Mixer really quick. I usually have sound for videos or movies and TV videos being adjusted by the Sound Mixer for my other stream. So sometimes it get mad. Tell you what, let's just open it in VLC. Is there not an open with option? Fine, we'll copy it. So it's like apparently like a 5-minute video. So I'll just load this up with VLC and we should be good to go. Open with VLC. Alright, so yeah, so there's the feathered plane that we just get from the sample stuff we're using. I like it quite a bit. I think it works really nice. It's nice and simple. There's the selected state of the other interaction example we get from here. And there's me resizing the Labyrinth. So I kind of chose this blue greenish transparent tint for it. It doesn't work particularly well on this rug of mine, which is blue. So that's something to keep in mind. I think this color lerp that I'd be doing, I should also apply to this, just so that the user is definitely noticing it, because this is where they'll be primarily focusing. They're not going to be looking in the middle. Here's that snag I always run into. It's always this one spot where it happens. It seems like the spline is actually a little bit wider than the tilt brush one that I drew. So here I like go quite wide, and then it suddenly goes, oh, I know what we're doing now. But yeah, you can see it progressing through. Something I also find is the text feels quite small, just because it's so far. So I probably do want to size up the text a little bit. I could apply an outline to it as well. That's basically free with Text Mesh Pro, thankfully.
So that'd be good to do. But I think largely, like, I'm pretty pleased. This is working. You know, it's a little clunky, but hey, it's a jam project. You know, made this basically in like a day and a half. If you like think about it, how many hours I actually put into it. So yeah. So rounding the middle here, we're gonna go to the center. Rounding the outside, going to the center, and then it'll swap over. So it had already swapped over by the time I reached here, actually, which was interesting. I wasn't even able to reach the middle. So maybe I need to make that final reaching of the center more strict, so that the user can actually have that moment of actually reaching the middle there. Yeah, so there you can see a little bit of what I was talking about, of the words stay behind you on the way back, since that extra threshold was added in there for the words in the back. So like that right there, that's what I don't love, is when there's just two bends of words right next to each other and you have to like squint at it and figure out which ones you want to focus on. Yeah, I don't love that. Like one option is I could make it so when I'm spawning the words that are going backwards, I just had an extra empty slot in the very front so that it starts one off from that, and that might solve this, and then we don't have to worry about this threshold thing, because I don't think I want this. But yeah, it works. I need to make sure that I'm hammering that home. I did it. It's cool. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to putting some polish on this, but yeah, lunch, coffee, gonna get that sandwich so I have a nice road trip carbo load type deal for myself in the morning tomorrow, and that'll be neat. I'll be not quite my first road trip in this car, but it's up there. It's one of the longer ones, and yeah, there we go. We reached the end there. And yeah, boom. Yeah, it works. I think it's a pretty good way to end this particular stream. So let's see, what was I doing here? Hug interaction. It's like automatic now. I think maybe making an interaction would make it more impactful. So I'll leave that there. But I think we're doing pretty good. Words fade in and out. We're kind of getting that through the just enabling, disabling. So cool. Yeah, gonna end the stream, I think. Probably we'll be back later. But if not, I'll upload this to the Jam site. I think it's running till 5. So if you have an Android phone, you can get the APK later today. So yeah. I always forget where the end stream button is. It's over here. I found it. See ya.